feel like DJ Wagner is really the name that I've been really hearing the most when people were saying who has been the most disappointing freshman, or who was the most disappointing freshman that Kentucky had this year. I mean, you guys know, bro, they had all these 5 stars coming into to Kentucky. John Calipari, arguably one of the best recruiting human beings of all time, no matter the sport, built a dynasty. He bring in 5 freshmen, being Reed Shepherd, Robert Dillingham, Justin Edwards, Aaron Bradshaw, and DJ Wagner. I feel like he was the one that people was really the highest on. He was a guy even before the season that people had as a projected number 1 pick. At the latest, he was going to go number 4 or 5, just from what I was seeing in the preseason. And fast forward to now, and the sample size that we have to show for from what DJ Wagner showed up in his freshman season, it's, if you want me to be honest, I think we can all agree that it's really just night and day. I really don't think people anticipated DJ Wagner to have the disappointing season that he had. Even me personally, I was very high on DJ Wagner coming into the season. If you're an OG on this channel, I've been making videos about this kid even before the whole Mikey Williams hype. I'll probably pop up some of my earliest videos talking about DJ Wagner, and this is like years and years ago. Even when everybody was on the Bronny James and Mikey Williams hype, I was really defending this man, DJ Wagner. Really was saying he was going to be the next guy to, come out of the class. DJ Wagner was a consensus number 1 rated player in the 23 class up until his senior year, where he still finished top 5, still finished as one of the best freshmen. And you guys know the legacy. His father played for John Calipari. Before, he has family ties with Kentucky and Coach Cal, and he was supposed to continue that legacy with the Wagners and Caliparis in Kentucky. And like I said, it just didn't, go as planned. Now, the one thing that I've been hearing a lot of people speculate, and the decision that people are really saying on what DJ Wagner should do: should he go to the NBA? Should he stay another year in college? Should he stay at Kentucky? Should he transfer? Personally, I feel like all these are definitely realistic options. I understand from the point of view people are saying that he should, declare for the NBA draft. And I understand it from the perspective of people saying that he, should come back for a second season. Just reading off his stats here, you guys can see he averaged 9.9 points a game, 1.9 rebound, 3.3 assists on 40% shooting from the field, and 29% from 3. There was even a point during the season where he literally went a whole month, like no exaggeration. I'll pop up on the screen the stats and the field goal percentages. There was a point where he did not make a single 3-pointer for a month straight, and just throughout the season, I feel like it was just a very up and down for DJ Wagner. At the beginning of the season, he started relatively okay. He had a 1-for-12 game against Kansas, which was the game that everybody anticipated. That was the first nationally televised game for college basketball in general. He didn't show up. He only finished with 4 points in that game. And then if you look at his next few games, he had a 28-point game against Marshall. A game before that, he had 22. The game after that against a top-ranked Miami team, he only finished with 5 points. So against these big-time schools, that's kind of feel like how it was throughout the season. He didn't really show up against those big times, ranked teams and whatnot. But against those, smaller schools, he definitely did his thing. Like I mentioned, putting up 20 points, putting up 15, 16 here and there. But just overall, I don't think DJ Wagner just had, a huge stretch where he was just consistent, in a specific area on the floor, whether it was scoring the ball, whether it was defensively, whether it was, offensively, his shot selection, being the point guard that people anticipated and whatnot. And despite the season that he was having throughout the season, the up and down season, I know a lot of people was always questioning, why is John Calipari still starting DJ Wagner when he's having these bad games, when he's not really making a significant impact out there on the floor? You can even go on Twitter and YouTube comments and just people in general. You hear a lot of people saying that every time they watch DJ Wagner that he's not really doing much out there. He's kind of just throwing up threes, throwing up bricks. He's not really making a significant impact on the floor, yet he's still getting these minutes. And, that's where people would speculate, obviously he has those family ties with John Calipari. So, he was supposed to be the savior for this team. So it's not like Coach Calipari can just not play him. and that's really what caused a lot of frustrations from fans from Kentucky all over. And people just really just question the legitimacy of why is DJ Wagner just starting. Me personally, I kind of understand it just because, you have Reed Sheppard, you have Robert Dillingham coming off the bench. They can bring you a different type of spark. But at the same time, as a coach, I do feel like you have to at least adjust. You have to try different things out. See how it is if DJ Wagner comes off the bench. Start Rob or Reed Sheppard at least the game, see how that goes. And in which he did, but I do think the fact that, Reed and Rob were producing at a higher level with less minutes than DJ Wagner, just see how it is. Just throw in Reed Sheppard and Robert Dillingham in the starting lineup. I don't want to stir away from the DJ Wagner conversation here, but it could have been very beneficial for DJ Wagner to come off the bench. He could have bring a different intensity, defensive intensity, to the team. And that's something that I think could have probably helped DJ Wagner throughout the season. Just from my personal evaluation from when I watched DJ Wagner throughout the season, I think we can all agree, like I mentioned, he's still one of the best rim penetrators when it comes to attacking the rim. I don't think he has the best handles out there, but he still does a good job of getting past his man. It's just, I think when he gets in the paint, he has to make a decision to either make a dump off or, go for the layup. In a lot of cases, he would get blocked. A lot of cases, he can finish well around the rim. So the strength is still there. I do think he's still a great rim penetrator, but I think once he gets to that next level, he's going to have to understand how to slow down and not really be a guy that just puts his head down and just goes straight to the rim and just hopes for the best, because I feel like a lot of times that's just what I personally saw from DJ Wagner. I've been saying that throughout his entire career, and that's something that I feel like he needed to improve on. But nonetheless, he still managed to make this all work. And the fact that he still averaged 10 points a game throughout the season, despite all the weaknesses that he had, despite, the struggles that he had, his shooting, not shooting great from the three, not being the best shot creator, not having the best shot selection out there. And guys, I have to just quickly touch up on that. It just would have just really made me mad. Guys, y'all know, bro, I'm a huge DJ Wagner advocate, bro. I'm a huge DJ Wagner fan, but bro, them shot selections sometimes when he would shoot them step back threes or them long logo threes, bro, sometimes it would just make me scratch in my head. But like I said, I'm personally still DJ Wagner. When it comes to all this, I just had to mention that. But like I said, I do think that DJ Wagner's season wasn't the absolute worst, but I don't think it was absolutely the best. Now, I do have a question for a lot of you guys out there, and I do want to touch upon this topic too, right? I know we had all these expectations for DJ Wagner coming in. Like I mentioned, he was supposed to continue the legacy. He was the highest rated recruit, I believe, to come in here. Either him or Aaron Bradshaw or Justin Evans, have to double check. But at that time, he was the guy, right, that was supposed to come into Kentucky. But the way we're reacting to how DJ Wagner's season went, is this only because that he was hyped up as a player? And did we just have unrealistic expectations, for DJ Wagner? Like I mentioned, top player in the class. He was the player of the year on multiple occasions for New Jersey. He won state championships with Camden, a prestigious school out there in Jersey. He was a legend when it comes to New Jersey, and he was playing the best players out there, playing on nationally televised games and whatnot. But despite all that, it just didn't translate well to the collegiate, portion. And he may have just been a better high school player than college. That happens sometimes. Cam Reddish being a huge one. That happens sometimes. Sometimes players just aren't ready for the collegiate game. And I do think in the case with DJ Wagner, when he was the number one rated player coming out his freshman year in high school, I do think he was just a little bit ahead of the curve. And I do say that just because he wasn't the tallest player out there. He was 6'2", 6'1", but he still had the tangibles, right? He still had the fundamentals. He just knew his spots on the floor. He knew when to rim penetrate. He knew when to, dish it off to his teammates. He was a great defender. He brought great energy to the floor, great energy to the team. He was a great complementary piece. He knew how to play off the ball, on ball, whatnot. And at least at that time, he really did look like the number one player. And I'm going to still stand on that to this day. But I do think a lot of other players just caught up to him in his class, and just now in college, just a completely different game. Like I mentioned, I do think if he came off the bench for Kentucky, that probably could have helped him a lot more and just played limited minutes. But like I said, when you have that relationship with Coach Cal, but when you have a coach like Coach Cal where his main priority is to get his guys to the NBA, obviously he's not going to tarnish DJ Wagner's, college basketball career. He's not going to play him. He has to play him. He wants DJ Wagner to get to the league, I'm pretty sure they talk about that all the time. So he's giving DJ Wagner these minutes to showcase what he can do out there on the floor. And, unfortunately, he just didn't showcase it to the best of his ability. Now, my opinion, I do think injuries did play a part. I know he was injured throughout the season on and off. And you are playing in a system like Kentucky. It is kind of hard to really stand out, I guess you could say. But like I mentioned, I don't think he had the worst season out there like how people are mentioning. There was still a lot of high moments that he had, but I do think he could have played a lot better. Overall, I would give him, if I had to put a number or a letter to it, I probably would say a C. I'd probably give DJ Wagner a C, C minus, C plus, somewhere around there. I wouldn't necessarily give him a B or an A. I think a C is a good spot for him. Where do I project him in the NBA draft if he does declare to go to the draft? I do see DJ Wagner being a late first round, somewhere in the second round draft pick. I do think teams are still going to be high. I mean, when you're the number one player in your class, top player in the class, like NBA teams look at that. You have to have something in you to be a top guy in your class. And I do think DJ Wagner has a lot to work on, but if he goes to the NBA, it may complement his game a lot better. We see this all the time. Players struggle in college, go to the NBA, it's a completely different story. He has a good camp around him. He has good mentorship around him. He knows a lot of people, connections and whatnot. So I do think DJ Wagner should consider going to the league. If he comes back to Kentucky for a second year, I wouldn't even be mad at that. I do think it could be great development for his career. I know they have a lot of other 5 stars coming in next season, but he can be that shooting guard for that team next year alongside with Boogie Fland and whatnot. But in this specific moment in time, I really don't know if he's going to transfer. I don't know if he's going to go to the league. Money's not an issue with him. He had a dad who played in the league. So we're just going to have to see. Guys, let me know what you guys think about DJ Wagner's freshman season for Kentucky. Do you think he should declare for the draft? Do you think he should stay in college? Do you think he should transfer to another program? Let me know the next player that you guys want me to do for one of these freshman breakdowns. Should I do Reed Shepherd? Should I do Bronny, Rob Dillingham, some other guys? Guys, let me know down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.